In studio with me today is Chris Crum, president of Online Training Academy in Kansas City, and Katie Yearton, education counselor. Welcome, Chris.
Oh, thank you, Cary. Thanks for having us.
Hi, Cary.
Welcome, Katie. Great to be here. Well, you're an old pro at this because you do a radio show every week.
I do, every week.
But you know, you and I talked about this, and I just thought it would be a great opportunity for us to tell the audience from a perspective of a student, me, okay,
right.
A guy who knew nothing about how to trade anything other than automobiles, okay,
right.
What it was like to go through the Online Trading Academy, why I did it. And I can remember the first show I listened to you and Matt do, where Matt had bought a brand new Mercedes.
Right.
And I was listening to the two of you, and I got hooked. And I started listening weekend after weekend. And finally, I went to my wife sitting in studio over here today, and I said, you know what? You're going to think I'm crazy, but I want to go take this course. I want to go see what this is like. So I went to the orientation course, and then from there, I went on and went to school, and we'll talk about that in upcoming segments. But let's just tell the audience a little bit about what Online Trading Academy is all about, and then we'll get into my story a little bit.
Guys, you know, we really do two things at the Academy. One thing that we focus on, I guess the sexy thing that we do there is we teach people how to trade the financial markets. And, of course, most people want to learn how to trade the financial markets because they want to produce income from that, either to supplement their current job, or the current income, or to replace that income. Some people just want to retire to do it full time for a living. Others, you know, have found their calling in life. They love working in the industry or the job that they're in. They found their God's purpose, if you will. And so they just want to, but sometimes you don't make as much money as you'd like. So they'll do it to supplement their income. Now, the other thing that we do, of course, is work with long-term investors and helping them build that wealth bucket for retirement. And, of course, you know, we all want to retire someday, but most of us just have no clue how to save that money, how to invest in the markets, how to manage risk in the markets, and how to get superior returns. And, of course, the investors that come to the Academy, they're looking to, well, eventually become financially independent. And, Cary, I'm not talking about Donald Trump wealthy here. I'm just talking about...
I don't know how Donald's going to do. He's going to be spending a lot of money here in the upcoming months. So that's probably not a great example right now.
But I'm not talking about that level of wealth. I'm just talking about having enough money in accounts so that... well, you don't want to be at a place where you're dependent on the government. You don't want to be a ward of the state or dependent on your kids to pay your bills. And you want to be at a place where you're no longer dependent on a job. That's what financial independence is. And it looks different for everybody, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah. So that's what we do. In a nutshell, we help traders, teach traders how to trade the markets to either supplement or replace their income. And we teach long-term investors how to build that wealth bucket for retirement. And, of course, we have a lot of students that want to do both. Right.
Katie, you know, you're the education counselor, one of the education counselors at the Academy. One of the things that I noticed in the class was we had huge diversity. We had a 17-year-old young man in that class, and we had people that were in their 80s in that class. Talk a little bit about the diversity of people coming through that course, from doctors to you know, lay people to, I mean, just talk a little bit about who attends, because it's an amazing cross-section.
It's scary. You're absolutely right. I speak with a lot of people over the phone prior to coming into our classes, and one of the questions I ask is, you know, what's motivated you to do this? And I have everything from people saying, you know, I'm looking for a plan B. Like I'm working so many hours at my job. My 9 to 5 has become 5 to 9, and I need some extra income. And they could be in their 30s, just looking to supplement their income and eventually retire early and just do this to stay at home with their kids. And then I have others that are like, you know, I really don't need a lot of extra income. I'm retired. I don't want to necessarily trade on a daily basis. I just want to manage my retirement accounts. I've been paying fees out the wazoo. I've heard that a lot.
Because they do.
And
they do.
That's a nice term. And, you know, they're just looking for a way to manage their accounts on their own, maybe get away from their financial advisors a little bit, and, you know, get a lot higher return. And so that age range is crazy. And I actively trade. I'm in my later 20s, and I see people all the time saying, oh, my goodness, you know, if I had this opportunity when I was your age,
well, where would they be?
Where would they be now? And then they're talking about, oh, I want to bring my child here. You know, my kid just got out of college and he's just kind of in the loop, or my kid's about ready to start college. I wonder if this would be a good opportunity for them. I'm like, hey, if I can do it, anyone can do it. So
Well, I'll steal that phrase because when I first approached this, I have to tell you, and I told Lori, I said, I don't know how I'm going to do with this. I don't have a clue. And it scares the daylights out of me. But you know what? I was so intrigued by it. And I listened to you guys on the weekends talk about, look, you don't have to be an MIT. The first thing you think when you hear this is, my God, I got to be an MIT graduate. I got to be a math major. This is calculus. This is algebra. It's none of that. It's none of that. It is so, the way you guys boil this down, and if you follow the formulas and do it the way you teach people to do it, it really can be a relatively simple process if you follow the formulas, right?
If you follow the rules, right.
Yeah.
Just to kind of add to what Katie was saying, our demographic has really changed a lot for our students over the years. And when I initially bought Online Trading Academy years ago, I think our average student was probably in their 50s or 60s, and these are people that were typically behind the curve.
You're looking at me as you say that.
They didn't plan very well for retirement, and so they're kind of coming there for fear-based reasons and trying to play catch-up on that. But now it's amazing because we are getting a lot more younger people, and I don't know what's caused it. I know that I do have whole families coming to us now. Mom and dad come in and they
had them in my class.
Yeah, and so then they bring their kids in because it's just such an amazing thing to have your kids learn how to do. And it really puts a person in a position where they can really enjoy doing something that they love, not necessarily for a living. I mean, you can make money in the financial markets and then do what you love to do, right?
Yeah, you can. And it's very funny when like I said, we actually had a young man in our class who was 16 or 17 years old. And it was funny to hear people say, I wonder what this would have been like if I would have started it. Mm-hmm. Well, there were a lot of us looking at that young man going, wow, he really got it. He did really well on the simulated trading. He was one of the leaders in the class in that respect. Mm-hmm. Very quick because these young people are very computer oriented and get all this stuff. And I'm sure he's going to do very well. And his father had sent him to the class. Yep. Because he thought it was important for him to go and have an opportunity to understand finance and the markets and all the rest of it. And it was a great experience.
And I've sent my oldest son in there. My son-in-law has taken our classes as well. They both trade the global futures market. And
my father actually has taken the classes because of me and my husband.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So both of you have had family members, extended family, go through the course.
Of course.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. I know Matt tells his story about when he started and why he started and all the rest of it. And it is fascinating how it all works out. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about that retirement issue. I'm going to tell you a little story about Know Your Number. When Chris came in and started our class. And I'll tell you about that. Then I'm going to tell you how you can take control of that retirement account, whether you've got a SEP or an IRA or whatever the case may be. We'll talk a little bit about that. If you want to learn more about the Online Trading Academy, go to the website tradingacademy.com, tradingacademy.com.